Hi, I'm Jason, and today I'm going to give you a virtual tour of the InfoSci database that is a product of IGI Global. We are accessing this database through the Rutgers University Database Hub, and let's get right into it. First of all, let's take a look at some of the features on the home page. You can see that there's a search bar, and there's a Browse All tab, and there's an Advanced Search tab. Underneath that, we have some boxes that show what content we have access to. So through Rutgers, we have access to a little less than half of the reference books available. We don't have access to any of the research journals, and we don't have access to any of the video lectures. These will still show up in our returns, but we won't be able to view the full text. We will either have to find them in some other database, or we would have to purchase greater rights to this database to be able to actually access the content. Below this, you can see that you can browse by subject. And then below that, we have some tabs for different types of users, librarians, researchers, authors. The one for authors is primarily people who want to be published through IGI. We won't really look at that very much. The one for librarians is interesting. It's not so much for users as it is for providing access to users, to end users. So it's, here the MARC records, discoverability information, how to get your discovery service to, plug into IGI basically, persistent URLs. It's all about kind of how to get this stuff to your users. There's stuff about RSS feeds in here, that kind of stuff. In the one for researchers, it has the most useful stuff for actual users or actual searchers, right? So let's first look at this user guide, which is a very helpful guide. It's well laid out with a nice table of contents, and then each section has these illustrations, screenshots that show where each function is. So as we're looking, and you want to say, where is my certain search bar or whatever, then you can go down here and you can get a screen cap that labels very clearly where you're looking for, where what you're looking for is. So that's pretty nice. I really want to just get into the actual search, because this is the reason that I chose this database. It's very different than any other database that I've experienced as far as how search works. One thing to note is that you can save searches, you can cache searches. If you're a member, it will allow you to cache old searches, and then you can use them again, or you can combine them with new searches. This is a great tool if you have a subject you're going to be researching often, or if you've got very complex searches where that there's a lot of, there can be a lot of different terms and a lot of different terminology that you're going to be using. As far as the search function goes, there are 3 search functions, which is a little different than what we've usually seen. Basic, advanced, and expert. The basic search function is pretty standard. It's just a search bar, and you type in your title or your keyword or your search terms, whatever it is that you want to search, and then you hit go. So the search terms that I want to be looking for in this tutorial, sorry, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, are artificial intelligence, neural networks. So if we start out just like this, you can use Boolean operators in here just like you could on any other basic search bar. And we'll get our results. You can save the search if you want, if you're a member. You get their total number of results. Over on the right-hand side, you have all your filters. So you can refine your results by content type, by availability, by copyright date, by subject, and by category. And if you click any of these, it filters automatically and then returns your new set. Once you have filtered, you can filter again and again. So I can now say I just want ones that were published in 2016, and it will filter again. And then if you decide that there are filters that, like for example, this one left me with one result, right? If that's not good enough for me, then I can just take the filter off, and it will go back to the previous result set. That's pretty standard. That's the same as any other database. Their advanced search function is much different than most databases. It is not made specifically to support Boolean or faceted navigation or any of these types of things. It is primarily to zero in from a basic search. So the idea that they say in their user guide is that the user would first do a basic search, and if they're and then they would move on to advanced search to pare down their results to something more manageable. This full text bar is going to be just like our basic search bar. There's no difference. It's not going to read it any differently. But then you have title, author, ISBN, ISSN, DOI, digital object, what is it? Digital object something, information, digital object identifier, copyright date. And so basically you're going to do the same search with some more limiters, right? Which is a little bit different. The expert search is closer to the advanced search that we're used to in most other databases, but it's done in a completely different way. So you put in your search terms. We're going to do artificial intelligence and neural networks. And then you can exclude. This works like the not operator, the Boolean operator not. And then you can have inflectional, which will look for other versions of the same word. Like if you said medicine, medicinal, it's kind of like truncation in a way. Over here is this really interesting thing where you can weight your search terms. So you can decide which terms are most important for your returns. Let's say we're really interested in artificial intelligence, but we don't really care that much if neural networks are in there. We just think that that's an interesting thing and we'd like to know more about it. So then we would say 70% for artificial intelligence, 30% for neural networks. This does have to add up to 100% or the search will be invalid. Hit search. And we have our results. You can see we've got a total of about 1,900 results. Use of artificial technology. There's a lot of stuff about healthcare. There's a lot of stuff about medicine in here. So let's say that we are not interested in what they have to do with medicine, right? We would just type in medicine in this next search field, exclude. And now anything that has medicine is going to be filtered out of this result set. Okay, so it took about 500 out, and now you can see that our top relevant search results have to do with investing, science, technology, things other than medicine. It should be noted that if the full text is available, you can view it either in HTML or in PDF. If we click on one of these returns, what we will find, if it ever comes up, is that what we get is title, we get a author, we get all of this metadata, ISBN number, DOI, things like that. Then we get the ability to view it as a full text as a PDF or as an HTML. The HTML is great for mobile because it scales. PDF will not scale the text. It is, it's just a PDF file. We then get an abstract, and below that we get all the references that this resource has, and then you can follow these references. So you can do citation mapping using Google Scholar. Some of them allow you to do it with some other citation reference resources, but Google Scholar is the one that it mostly gives you. And then you can go and you can look at these articles that have been referenced by the article or book chapter, as this one is that you've been looking at. Let's go and let's reverse these weights. Let's say that we've decided that we're really interested in neural networks. We'd like to know how they work with artificial intelligence, but what we're really interested in is in the algorithm itself, the neural network itself. And hit search, and we're going to find that we're going to get a different result set. Now, actually, 1487, this may be the exact same result set. However, what you will notice is that they aren't ordered the same way because the relevancy weight now has been skewed towards neural networks and away from artificial intelligence. This is great if you have some type of research project where there are several aspects to it, and you know how important some are, and you know that some are more important than others. This can be a great resource. Let's see. This is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys about this database. I have been playing around with it for about a week now, and it's really interesting. It's the resources we get through Rutgers University are a little, and it should be noted that any returns you get on this database are going to be resources that are published by IGI. So it's not exactly the one-stop shop that something like EBSCO or JSTOR might be, but there are some pretty interesting resources in here, and I definitely think it's something worth checking out. And even if it's not a subject that you're particularly interested in, I just think it's interesting to see how they have set up this database, and especially how they have done search in such a different way than anything else that we have looked at so far. I just want to note right at the very end here that you can also favorite articles that you find for ease of access in the future. You can also it will give you citations for whatever resource in MLA APA Chicago. But I think that's about it. This is a database that I've really enjoyed playing around with, really enjoyed experimenting with, and one that definitely gives you a sense of the different ways in which these things can be structured. So thank you for your time. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed this screencast, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.